the gold and SPY ratio is hitting bottom band, 66% market decline, and gold stays the same, or 30% market decline, gold doubles, brings us back to neutral band. Still room for SPY to double, with gold staying the same before end of euphoria. Current momentum could lead to crash mid-end of year with 2023. Latest if gold and SPY sentiment stays the same. What's your expectation for gold bounce versus Bitcoin, which is hybrid risk on / risk off asset? Sorry, it's a huge, it's a long question. Huge fan for a long time, he says. He says you rock. Cheers.
Awesome.
But basically, I feel like what he's asking is kind of, and what I was just about to wonder was, you're talking a lot about hedging against inflation with crypto. What about gold and silver? What do you think about those two?
Yeah, so gold and silver look like, I think about it in kind of like a tiered ranking. I overall, any assets will be better than having your money in a savings account. Even just buying government bonds would be better than having your money in savings. But to this question of golds, it's not that I'm bearish on gold by any means. I think gold's going to start to play a little bit of catch up, and to that point, maybe start to even outpace equities over the coming year or so, the stock market, roughly speaking. But I think the important thing to understand, if we're speaking from historical performance, generally speaking, commodities and equities go through these major cycles. Right now, it has been more favorable to be in equities. It's just a known fact. Gold has been generally lagging over the past decade since it had its strong rally against equities. I can actually pull up a chart here. This is a great example of how you can utilize ratios in markets. So we've got exactly as the gentleman was referring to and stuff, we've got gold divided by SPY. So this is the basically a ratio of gold divided by the S&P 500. And what we can see here is that during the early 2000s, gold heavily outpaced the S&P 500. In fact, we can use a date and price range tool, right? Again, no one's ever generally buying at the bottom, but we can see from the lows here at the start of June in 2000, right, the year 2000, up towards August of 2011, gold outpaced the S&P 500, 822%, a major rally over the course of multiple years. You can see this was 134 months. So we're talking from, again, mid 2000 to mid 2011, right? About 11 years cycle here. But ever since then, as equities have been in a bull market, gold has underpaced equities by about 77%, right? So again, until we start to see a clear trend reversal, I generally rank it as follows: crypto as the best hedge, as it's an emerging asset class. The second would be equities. The third would be gold and silver, and then the fourth would be bonds, or more specifically, U.S. Treasuries. Is kind of the gold standard. So those are kind of my rankings in that case. But again, I think any smart investor has some decent exposure to all these assets. So all the while, gold and silver are not a large portion of my portfolio. I've got some gold coins and silver coins that I've gotten either gifted or I've held on to and stuff and purchased long ago. So I think it's important, and that also goes for just being prepared for anything. Having I know it's very prepper mindset, but having again, some basic necessities around you and stuff, I think are always good. But yeah, that's the general thought process there, is that I would be more bullish on crypto and equities versus gold.
Yeah, just anything that the government doesn't have control over, basically.
yeah, anything that they can't just print to oblivion. Exactly. Gold has limitations. Equities, you can dilute equities, but the thing is, they're usually, the owners of the shares are going to determine whether or not they want to dilute them or not, and they usually don't want to dilute their shares because that dilutes their ownership. And then bonds, the government has to issue new bonds and have people who are willing to monetize that debt and basically craft those and buy those bonds, those IOUs from the government. So yeah, they at least have some limitations. Bitcoin, what's so great about it is that it's fixed. We know the monetary process. So it's like the ultimate asset overall.
Yeah, we have a video on our YouTube channel, the 6 characteristics of a good and reliable currency. So if you want to go watch that, I can find it after we'll answering the next question and post it too. But we'll try to put it in the link in this YouTube video after we post it. But it talks through what makes a currency non-tamper proof and that kind of thing. So.